Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide in studio. And Andrew, we talked a lot about the offensive side. They're playing well, a little inconsistent, but they're playing well. The pitching, let's get to that. That has been a whole different story. Very good on some ways, very bad on others. We'll start off with the good, Chris Sale. We talked about him last time. It seems like this guy is going to be that must-watch guy every fifth day for the Red Sox. We haven't seen anyone here, I don't think, since Pedro like this. I mean, Lester was good, no question about that. They've had some good pitching. Porcello last year, obviously. But this guy, what he did over the weekend against Tampa, what he's done in all three, I think he has like something like 28 strikeouts in 20 or 19 innings. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. It's going to be every fifth day, must-see TV.
Yeah, Chris Sale, exactly as advertised, coming over here. And, there's always questions with guys coming from, and the White Sox weren't a small market, but going over to the Red Sox, one of the biggest markets, there's always a question of how he's going to pitch. But to him, I mean, he seems to tone everything out and just doesn't care about the fans, the atmosphere. He's going to pitch how he can pitch, and he's just been so dominant. And like you said, 28 strikeouts. I think he's leading the majors right now. And I heard a stat. His ERA is like 1.3 or something, super low. But the other Red Sox starters right now have an ERA of like over 6. So I mean that just shows you how important he is to this rotation right now. But he has just been so dominant.
Right, and every game, and he has such a good arsenal. He's got a slider. He can throw his fastball. He knows when to pitch. He's a smart veteran pitcher. So it's going to be exciting to watch him pitch for this whole year and hopefully beyond this year. Another guy, Rick Porcello. Number 2 pitcher, clearly a good pitcher, not a problem. Don't want to get panicking here early, but he did have a tough outing his last time out against Tampa. He pitches on Wednesday. Is that just a one-time thing, gave up 4 home runs or something, or should we be worried about Porcello? Because he had the first year was bad, great year last year. Is he going to revert back, or is it going to be somewhere in between?
It's a little concerning. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think he will bounce back, but I think he had something like 15 or 20 consecutive quality starts up until that game. He had just been so lights out, and and it's kind of weird going up against the Tampa Bay lineup. Not one of the most threatening lineups. So it's a little strange, but I think he will bounce back. His ERA is like 4.5 right now. It's not awful, not Cy Young caliber, but I think he'll find his stride.
Well, and like you said, how many ever consecutive quality starts? I was looking back last year at how many games he had. He only had really one bad game where he didn't pitch 6 innings and he gave up more than 5 runs or something. Ridiculous. So you can't expect that year in and year out. Even from a guy like a Chris Sale, or we see guys like Clayton Kershaw, they'll have bad games. So let's be honest, Porcello, I don't think we should worry yet. Give him the second time through the rotation this week against Toronto. Not the second time, but the time after his bad outing. See what happens. But you just hope it doesn't go too long. And the biggest problem that I thought was he gives up the home run ball was the problem he had in that first season. So if his velocity was down a game, but it goes back up, or if he wasn't striking, but it's like, is there a problem giving up the home run ball? Does he have lapses and he grooves pitches? I don't know if there's any way to tell. Yeah,
and he was giving up bombs to guys who don't hit home runs. I think, who was it? Steven Souza Jr. And I think there's another guy. One guy I think hit 4 or 5 home runs all of last year, and he took one deep to dead center field. So it is a little strange. It is concerning. Like you said, that first year he was giving up the long ball, but he was really just missing his location. I think as the season goes on, he'll find that.
Well, that's the other thing. We're only 3 weeks into it. So talking about a guy who he might be a little bit further off than we're hoping. I don't know. We'll get to David Price. Possibly mid-May. I guess he's been thrown on the side, throw a simulated game. So right now, here we are in mid-April. It's looking like only a month away. Is that positive, or would you rather them say, let's wait till he's 100% healthy? Especially if this team's playing as well as they are. I mean, they are playing fine. They don't need him. They're not 2-10 and desperate.
I mean, I don't know specifically, I guess, what his ligament looks like right now. But the progress he has been making. I heard yesterday he still hasn't been throwing his breaking ball, which I guess puts extra stress on your elbow because you have to really torque your arm.
Makes sense.
So to me, that's concerning. They keep saying, well, he threw 25 pitches, 30 pitches, all these things. But he hasn't thrown that breaking ball, and that's a huge pitch for him. So to me, I don't really see him being that effective if he comes back. To me, I think you shut him down right now. Get him ready to go for next year. You just have to eat his salary for this year. Kind of suck it up and just deal with it.
And I'm worried. We've talked about. I'm worried that still might be the case because until he starts throwing that breaking ball, until he starts facing live hitters, until he starts getting. I mean, anybody can throw off flat ground, throw fastballs to a guy who's standing up. He's not even pitching. He's just throwing to him. So I agree with you. A little worrisome there.
Yep.
But once again, it's still early. We're not sounding the alarms. This Red Sox team's playing well.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens the rest of the season. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Celtics. They're obviously in the first round of their playoff series and talk about how far they get in the playoffs and what we can give a grade for this season, a failure, a success. When we come back, you're watching YCN Sports Talk.